guys, I'm here to read a couple more chapters for you. When we left off, the whirlybird was trying to warn the other birds about the glue that Mr. Twit puts on the branches. Alright. This chapter is called No Bird Pie for Mr. Twit. The next morning when Mr. Twit came out of his huge basket to snatch all the birds from the big dead tree, there wasn't a single one on it. They were all sitting on top of the monkey cage. The roly-poly bird was there as well, and Muggle Womp and her family were inside the cage, and the whole lot of them were laughing at Mr. Twit. So here they are, all laughing at him, like, haha, you can get us. Still no bird pie for Mr. Twit. Mr. Twit wasn't going to wait another week for his bird pie supper. He loved the bird pie. It was his favorite meal, so that very same day he went after the birds again. This time he smeared the top bars of the monkey cage with sticky glue, as well as branches and the big dead tree. Now I'll get you, he said, whichever one of you sit on. The monkey crouched inside the cage, watching all of this later on, and when the roly-poly bird came out, swooping all in from each evening chat, they shouted out. We are just trying to put glue on the cage to catch the monkey, or the birds. Don't land on our cage, roly-poly bird. It's covered with sticky glue. There's no solus on the tree. And that evening, the sun went down. All the birds came over again to the roots. The roly-poly bird flew around and around the monkey's cage and the big dead tree, singing out his warning. There's sticky stuff now on the cage and the tree. If you land on either, you'll never get free. So fly away, stay up high, or you'll finish up tomorrow as a hot bird pie. So here's the roly-poly bird flying around. Mr. and Mrs. Twit go off to buy guns. The next morning, when Mr. Twit came out with his huge basket, not a single bird was sitting on either of the monkey's cage and the single dead tree. There were perched happily on the roof of Mr. Twit's house. The roly-poly bird was up there as well, and the monkeys were on the cage, and the whole lot of them were hooting with laughter at Mr. Twit. So here they are, all laughing at him. I'll wipe that silly laugh off your beaks, Mr. Twit screamed at the birds. I'll get you next time, you filthy feathery frumps. I'll wring your necks and whole lot of you and have bubbling in this pot of bird pie before the day is out. How are you going to do that? Asked Mrs. Twit, who had come outside to see what the noise was about. I won't have you smearing sticky glue all over the roof of our house. Mr. Twit went very close to Mrs. Twit and lowered his voice so that neither the birds nor the monkeys could hear. I've got a great idea, he said. We'll both go into town right away and we'll buy a gun each. How's that? Brilliant, cried Mrs. Twit, grinning and showing her long yellow teeth. We'll buy those big shotguns and spray out filthy bullets or more with each bang. Exactly, said Mr. Twit. Lock up the house while I go and make sure the monkeys are safely shut away. Mr. Twit went over to the monkey's cage. Attention, he barked to the fearsome monkey trainer voice. Upside down, all you go, jump on it. One at a top, other quick, get out. On with it, you'll feel Mrs. Twit's across your backside. Obediently, the poor monkeys stood up on their hands, climbed on top of each other with a Muggle Wump in the bottom and the smallest child on the very top. That's all he wants them to sit. Now, stay there till we come back, Mr. Twit ordered. Don't you dare move, and don't overbalance. When you return in 2 or 3 hours' time, I shall expect to find you all exactly the same position, and you are now. You understand? With that, Mr. Twit marched away. Mrs. Twit went with him, and the monkeys were left alone with the birds. Alright, so I'm going to stop there. I'll read a couple more chapters tomorrow. I hope you all have a good day. Mwah.